Let's talk about politics and estrangement. And if you are estranged because politics got in the middle, political beliefs got in the middle, or if you're estranged by the way that people behaved regarding their differing political beliefs, I'd love you to drop a comment and share your experience. Let's get into it, shall we? I have two different comments that I'm going to share and talk about what I think it looks like when people estrange over differing opinions, not just political ones. I'm going to share that from my personal point of view and also from my point of view as a therapist who has worked with parents and adult children to not allow these things to get in the middle of their relationship and have it devolve into a non-relationship or estrangement. The first comment, I have a friend whose daughter left her because she has a different political belief. She was a wonderful mother. I see that as unreasonable and abusive. My own parents were mentally abusive to me. So this one's going to be a short answer to this. The parents that you saw, the wonderful mother that you saw, might not have been the daughter's experience. According to everybody else in my life, my mother was like the mother of the year. Nobody knew that behind closed doors she was emotionally abusing me. And as an emotional abuse survivor yourself, I wonder if you feel that way. I wonder if people in your life were telling you, but your mother loves you, oh, she's so good to you, and they were receiving the version of her that you would have loved to have received yourself. That may not be the case all the time with everybody. We're not into absolutes here. However, I will say that the mother that the public sees is not always the mother that the child receives. And I think it's important to note that. I'm not saying that the political beliefs and what was going on in between that mother and daughter didn't contribute to their estrangement. However, given how strong the need is for us as children and adult children to receive love and approval from our parent, we will oftentimes, and again, no absolutes, fight tooth and nail to try to find a way to stay in that relationship. I mean, my mother dropped me out of a 2-story window and people told me she's a wonderful mother. And at the end of the day, 17 years into our estrangement, I actually let her know that I will wipe the past clean. We never have to discuss it, because I knew that she was never going to own that, take accountability, apologize. I knew it was going to be a problem. So I was willing to let all that go if we could have a relationship in the present that was a healthy one, not understanding that you can't have a healthy relationship with somebody who cannot take accountability or chooses not to. I didn't realize that at the time. But look what a heinous thing my mother did to me. And by the way, the emotional abuse was much worse than that moment in time when I was 5 or 6 years old. Literally, she tried to unalive me. The emotional violence that she perpetrated against me was far worse than that moment in time. Yet I would have done anything. And I know that there's a lot of adult children out there that feel the same way. I know that there's a lot of adult children that are estranged or low contact that wish that they could be in a relationship with a parent that at least respected their boundaries enough to be a safe person. Estrangement isn't really about the child abuse necessarily, or mostly. It's more about the present time and that continued behavior. Now let's get into the second comment. I asked my toxic mother to stop talking about politics with me. This is how I framed it. Mom, I would like to have a good relationship with you, so let's not talk politics. For backstory, every time I talked to her, she would turn even the most benign topic into a negative political diatribe. We are on opposite sides of the political spectrum, and she knew that. But she felt entitled to spew her opinions on me. Trying to have thoughtful discourse was pointless because she had no capacity for hearing a different point of view, and any attempt I made toward sharing a different opinion was met with extreme hostility. So for years, I would just let her rant and wait till it was over and change the subject. I finally had enough and requested that we don't talk politics. Of course, this didn't sit well with her because it deprived her of the feeling of superiority that she got from being able to express her toxic opinions unfettered. When she would start to violate my request, I would calmly remind her that I preferred not to talk about politics, and she would scoff, roll her eyes, and huff. So I'm not allowed to give my opinions? Then at a gathering in front of other people, she mocked me and said, well, I'm not allowed to express my opinions to my daughter. I was the bad guy for trying to preserve a relationship with her. I've dealt with this in sessions with my clients, and not limited to politics, where the mother is absolutely dead set on being authentic, which means that they need to share all of their opinions with their adult child, regardless of whether or not they're hurtful, disagreeable, aggressive, whatever the case may be. So that could range from political things, or it could be about religion. It could be about something as seemingly benign, because we know it's not benign, about their adult child's appearance. And not in a, nice sort of way where you go, maybe those pants are too short or something. More in a way of, oh, why'd you do that? Or why did you buy that? Or, your rolls are coming over. Like in ways that aren't constructive and kind and meant to, be a parent that actually supports their adult child. More like in ways of, well, if I don't tell you, nobody's going to, and I'm your mother, this is my job kind of way. And if you know, you know. In all of these cases, fortunately, where I had the parent and the adult child, and just moving backwards a little bit, in all of these cases, it was the parent that was my client first. And they recognized that there were things going on with their adult child. They couldn't navigate the relationships. They weren't getting along. Different circumstances along the way going through this. And so I would then meet with the adult child separately and talk about, how they were feeling and what they wanted and what they needed and what was going on. We talk about the other side of the story, getting the other side of the story, or as I prefer to say, getting the other person's perspective of how they're feeling and what's happening. And then bringing the parent and the adult child together, and usually it's more than one session. One of the things that's clear to me in these environments is that the parent actually wants to figure out how to be in a relationship with their adult child and not lose that adult child, and is struggling to understand the difference with being authentic, how to build a connection with their adult child, and what being authentic actually means. It doesn't mean word vomit on every topic that you feel. That doesn't build connection or safety or love. It actually means being able to respect the other person's feelings. And if you can't broach certain topics together in a constructive manner, then what's the point of bringing them up if you know that they're never going to get to a place where that builds connection with your adult child? And with all of these moms, thankfully, I don't want to say saw the light. I want to say they saw their adult child in a different light. They recognized that their adult child really loved them and wanted to be in a relationship with them, but this was making it intolerable. They were being hurt by this. And they started to learn that the way that you build connection is by building trust and having respect, not by saying any big or little thing that's on your mind and shoving it down somebody else's throat. When I read your comment and how this rolled out, I can understand why you ended up going no contact. What is the point of being in a relationship with someone who shows so little care for your safety and feelings? if this person wasn't your mother, you would have ended it long before, I'm sure. At the end of the day, because this is your mother, and a person who is unwilling to be your safest person, who should be your safest person, they're the ones that should be off the island first, in my opinion. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys some examples of when people say, oh, they broke up over politics. I don't think we break up over politics. I'm not saying that some relationships don't, where you're just like, I don't respect your point of view on this, and I just don't see you as a person I want around. Your value system is just off compared to mine, kind of thing. I'm not saying that that doesn't occur. I am saying that in relationships where there's actually love and investment and desire, we're going to find ways to navigate that and create a peaceful situation by not discussing things that are never going to be okay. And that's not the same thing as shoving things under the rug and all of that. That's not the same thing as being accountable for our actions, for what we do to another person. These are external topics, right? Or if you're attacking a person's appearance because you're keeping it real and that person is your adult child, well, you're not keeping it real. You're just being really cruel in that circumstance. If we want to be in relationships, we will work to be in them. And if we don't, and we feel entitled, like so many of these estranged parents feel entitled, then we'll behave accordingly. And, you know, they'll blame politics and say I was a good mother and all this, that, and the other. When the truth of the matter is, it wasn't about what they were saying. It was about how they weren't respecting the other person's boundaries and creating that safety and just leading with love. Because when you love someone and you know something hurts them, you don't go out of your way to continue to do it.